Good morning, good rising, everybody. It's Wednesday. It's Women's Month. It is Domestic Violence Survivor Month, or Domestic Violence Month in general. It is all about the woman and the things that, God has done in her life and the amazing miracles that have happened. And I think in this season, I am addressing a lot of issues that I didn't even know that I still had, a lot of feelings that come up because I'm able to sit down and talk to Spirit about them, and I just get so moved just considering a lot of things. And one thing that I was considering this morning is how I think that the one thing that I would always say is that I always felt so alone, because especially being someone that is gifted or anointed by God, and I've always felt alone because the things and the sensations that go through my body, and the feelings and signs and the things that I see, hearing, seeing, feeling things, those things I have to sit in all by myself. I can describe to somebody, oh my gosh, I'm feeling this is what, but I can't go on national TV and tell America I have a bad feeling, so everybody needs to stay at home. I have to sit in that, and I have to wait for the clarity. And I think that a lot of the issue is that sometimes we don't wait long enough for the clarity. We think that it's supposed to be an instant answer, whenever a lot of times God is just telling us to wait. Wait just a second. Don't go yet. Don't go to war right now. Because if you go to the left instead of the right, when I told you to go right, I didn't tell you to do anything. But if you would have waited, I would have told you to go right, and you went left. And because you went left, you made a wrong turn, like that old movie Wrong Turn that we watched. Just because she made a wrong turn, it started a whole slaughter and a massacre, and she had to start over. And she ended, and she probably was like, why, God, why did you do this to me? Why did you cause all this murder? Why did you cause all this slaughter? Why did you bring me out to this, to where now I'm alone and I'm stuck out here? But God says, I didn't tell you to do that. I told you to turn right. And if you would have waited and turned right, then you would have got home safe, and everybody that you love would be right there with you. But the fact that you went left before you even waited, you didn't even wait for my answer, basically. You didn't wait for my answer. And a lot of times, I think I healed a maternal mother wound in myself, being a mother at 15, and then watching my oldest daughter turn 15 recently. It brought up a lot of emotion of my old self, and having to forgive my old self because I thought that I had forgiven myself. No, I just kind of rebirthed myself and kept walking forth, but I didn't really look at myself in the mirror and say, self, this is who you used to be, because you used to be Mary Magdalene, and now, hello? I'm sorry, that's funny, but that's exactly how I heard it. Like, you used to be Mary Magdalene, you used to be troubled, you used to have spirits, you used to do things that didn't make any sense. You used to make 3 left turns just to make a right, when you just had to listen to my voice, because I will move you when it's time to move. I will tell you to go to war when it's time to go to war. But if it ain't no sense for you to go to war, because I already destroyed the enemy before they was able to come to the door, and you trying to bust in the door that I already shut, you didn't listen. And a lot of times we think that God brings us through all these turns and these alleyways, but if we just stopped for 1 second and we just talked to him about it, and like a father says, do as I say. Do as I say, not as I do. Do as I say, not as I do, because I'm doing things so you don't have to do anything, because that's what fathers do. And even though you didn't have a father, I've been showing you all this time what a father does. A father protects. He's going to stop the BS before it gets to the door. That's what a father does. You trying to go in a door that I already blocked. But if you just talk to me about it, and I tell you to stand still and just watch, I will reveal everyone that's not supposed to be in your circle. It was a door made right in front of you, but you took the back way. Now you come back and you're torn to pieces and you're miserable and you're suffering and you're saying, why did they do this to me? Why did they hurt me again? Why did they torment me again? Why did I take them back in the first place when I already knew before they walked in the door I had a bad feeling? Because God was telling me not to do it. He was telling me not to let him in. And now you reap the consequence and you have nerve enough to ask me why from your action. So just as you have grown, remember to do as I say. That's a lot to take in for me, because time and time again, he's remained solid. His word is always consistent, and there's never been any confusion in it. If I call, you come. If they coming for me, you getting them. It's like law. It's very black and white. He doesn't like the nastiness, and he doesn't like injustice, and he doesn't like when people slay our names, and he doesn't like any of that. But all those things take time to reveal, and we are not the doers of vengeance. Vengeance is for spirit, which is why I always said I don't have to do nothing to nobody. I let karma take its place. I let God take his place and do what he's supposed to do. We call it karma, dharmas, whatever you want to call it. It is what it is. You get what you give. And that's law. It's universal law. It's biblical law. It's law in the streets. It's law. So never think that what you sense isn't deep enough in you to where there's not that small voice actually advising you, or the small voice that's making you sit still. Because you're worried about the people who are discussing you in the familiar rooms when you're not even thinking about the rooms that you ain't even stepped in, that God got people talking about you in, that's actually trying to bless you. The enemy wants you to focus on the negative rooms, the rooms that you already entered, and they tried to taint your name, and they tried to act like you were the enemy, and they tried to act like you weren't good enough, and now they have to sit there and eat that, and now they're back because they ate that, and now they want another meal because now they hungry because they had to eat that. Let them eat it. Because we had the same plate, and we sat at the same table. But you wanted the food off my plate instead of worrying about your own. And now your plate got thrown away and you still looking for mine when I done already ate. Because it's done. Because that's what God said it is. It's already done. I don't know if this is relatable for anybody. I don't know if it can help anybody. But it definitely helps me to be able to process the feelings of when people know they've done you wrong, and paying attention to my discernment and my feelings. Because if somebody's trying to enter back in and I feel nauseous or I do not feel okay, that's a big warning sign that they're paying a consequence. And that's the only reason why they come back, is because they are paying a consequence that God put there for them. Because that we all have to learn. It's learning experience. I'm not saying I've never learned, because I've learned a lot. But what I'm saying is, to each their own. And sometimes whenever you do step in and you let someone in that should have never went back in the door again, because it was already a closed door, and you open that door and you invite them back in, you're gonna go back to God bruised and broken once everything is said and done, and you realize their intentions weren't good. And what happens? You have to start all over again. All that healing work you did, all that praying to God you did, you and God have to start all over. And just like a father would do, God's going to take you back in. He's going to say, I know you're broken. I know you're tired. I know they did it again. I'm going to sweep you back in. We're going to make you back new. I'm going to get you back in alignment. I'm going to make you value yourself again. I'm going to put purpose back into you. I'm going to push this back in your head that you can do this and you are worthy. And then for some reason, we allow the outside realm of the other people that shouldn't have been there to get back in our head and create those lies all over again and torment us out again. It's like sneaking out of our house, we know that dad's on the couch and he done fell asleep, so we gonna sneak out the window instead of just listening, because what's out the window is dangerous and we don't know if he can protect us. Like this one time when my oldest daughter, she was actually talking online to people when she was like, you know, back, she's 15, so like 7 years ago. She, you know, for her first experience online, she was talking to people, and I'm trying to explain to her, like, yo, that's dangerous, but you don't know who that is. That could be a pedophile, that could be this person, blah blah blah. They saying at 13 they could be 57. And her dad said something I'll never forget, rest his soul. He said, I can't do anything once they put you in that truck. We can't find you. He said, I'll do anything in the world for you, but once you get in that truck and we can't find you, there's only so much I can do. It's the same thing with God. God's supposed to be this nature of a father. That's why we can feel the presence of a father. It's spiritual. You know, I'm not here to say he, him, have the argument if God's a woman, a man, whatever. We're not here for that. What I am here to say is that spiritual presence has that level of discernment within you for a reason. And the fact that you will go against that time and time again and be constantly shown grace definitely deserves some type of surrender and realization that, hey, I've been that kid constantly jumping out that window. And now I'm here to actually, maybe instead of jumping out the window, let me go snuggle up under my dad, my father. Let me go read a little bit and reassure myself, because he told me this is who I am. And if I'm not that, there would be confusion. But he's not of confusion. So I need to go sit up under him until I get this together. If you know what I'm saying. I need to go take some time with myself. Because to sit with self is to sit with God. You know what I'm saying? To sit in silence, to sit with yourself is to sit with God. Sometimes isolation and darkness is needed. What people don't understand about me is sometimes I be needing to isolate myself. And it's sometimes very frequent, because all the things that go out in the world, it's a lot. It's a lot for somebody that feels everything to go out into the world. Just to go to the dollar store, it's a lot on my spirit, because I see through everything. So I have to go in the darkness so I can find my light again sometimes. Because sometimes when I go out there, I see things that are so horrible, so awful. I encounter people who try to deceive me so desperately that it disturbs me. And darkness is needed sometimes. It's needed for you to isolate and remove people out of your life and not talk to people you thought that you would never not talk to again, because they not on the same page, because they in the dark. And you need to go sit in the dark too. But the dark that they in, they want to be there. You there because God put you there. And he's like, you need to go sit over here until you get it together so I can bring you into light. Because I got light for you. I just need you to go over here and receive the fact that that's what I got for you, so you can know that that's what I got for you, and be sure before you step out again. I don't know who that's for, but I appreciate you guys for listening. If you made it this far, because it was just flowing this morning and I had to, I'm actually going to read my verse, one of my verses that I got. It's Galatians 5:13-16. So I say, walk by the Spirit and you will not gratify desires of the flesh. So the lesson would be to, instead of seeking outside sources, seek within yourself. What does self tell you? Because self and God are one. That's the law of oneness. So if you can sit down with yourself and have a conversation with yourself, you just about can call upon the presence of God to do whatever you guys need to work together to do. Because we walking by the Spirit. Because as long as we got spirit and we sure of that, certain, because we feel it, and everyone's capable of feeling that. So as long as, you know, we can feel our discernment, and we're listening to our intuition, we can manifest anything. Never believe in lack or limitations, as Londrell says. Anything can be manifested with a little appreciation. So if we walking in the Spirit, if we doing what's good for our soul, if we doing what's good for our mind and our body, we're not going to be moved by what Peter, Paul, Jove, Samantha, whoever is doing. You know, we're not going to worry about that, because at the end of the day, We walking by the spirit. I'm only doing what spirit lead me to do. I said I'm fasting. They like, how long you fasting? What you doing? I do not know. This is literally by spirit. I'm doing what spirit tell me to do. I'm not moving like you move. I'm not reading no book. I'm moving how I'm told to move, what my body's telling me to do. Something a lot of people don't do. So start listening. Start listening, because you create wars that don't even need to be started. Wars that were already taken care of, because people can have a war within themselves, but it ain't got nothing to do with you. Wars that are fires that have been set out, you like to go and flick the match back on them. Mind your own, you live long.